Hey, Uplevel Dairy leaders. It's Thanksgiving, and we're in the season of giving thanks, and that's why I wanted to share with you just this quick 10-minute message this morning on the topic of gratitude. So, as you're checking cows this morning or packing up that pumpkin pie to take to a family gathering, I invite you to spend just a few minutes with me in this conversation on the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. I'm your host, Peggy Coffee, and it's my mission to bring you the conversations that will up-level your skill set and your mindset so you can be a top performer in the dairy business. And so what does gratitude and Thanksgiving have to do with you and your drive to reach your next level of performance as a dairy producer or professional? Well, perhaps it's more than you think. In fact, a few years ago, if you would have told me that writing down three things you're grateful for every single day would help me to be more productive, would help me to do a better job at my work, would help me to be a better person to my family at the end of the day, I would have probably brushed it off as a bunch of, feel good fluff, right? Well, the truth of the matter was, a few years back at that point in time, my stress levels were not in a good spot. I would start feeling stressed out the minute I woke up for the day. Before my feet even hit the floor, my mind was on auto scroll with the to do list of all of the things that needed to get done that day. And I would wake up with this sense of urgency. And before I would even start my day, the first thing I do is get my running shoes on, pound out a few miles, answer my emails, and try and get that all in before the kids woke up and got out of bed. Well, then that would translate into this sense of rush, rush, rush throughout the entire day. And I never hit the pause button. I just kept operating in this state of overdrive until my head hit the pillow at night. And so maybe you're listening to this and you're like, "Yep, I can relate to that." And maybe for you, you thrive in that zone. But for me, I thought I did too, but truthfully, I was exhausted, I was stressed out, and I was often disappointed with myself at the end of the day because I didn't think I gotten enough done. Well, so when a friend invited me to do a 21-day gratitude challenge where you write down three things you're grateful for every morning, my first response was, "No thanks. I don't have time for that." And in fact, I thought it sounded like a waste of the little time that I thought I had. Well, here's the thing. When someone challenges me, I'm A, not very good at saying no, and B, I don't really like losing or failing. So I found myself in a 21-day gratitude challenge. And so every morning for 3 weeks, I made myself sit down and follow these prompts for writing down three things every day I was grateful for. And let me tell you, folks, it was hard. It was not easy. It was hard to sit. It was hard to focus. It was hard to slow down. And it was hard to know if I was being grateful for the right things, if my things that I was writing down were good enough, if they were too big, if they were too small. But I can tell you this, over time, it got easier. And here's what I also noticed is that creating this pause button in the morning helped to slow down my mind and help me to focus on the good things and give God that moment of thanks. And what also happened, I started to do this throughout the rest of the day too. And I felt better. I felt more calm, more clear. And that meant that I was more productive, able to get more done, able to get through challenges and difficult situations faster. And so that's why 5 years later, I still start each day with a prayer of thanks and a list of three things that I'm grateful for. This daily practice is great in all the feel good, fluffy ways, right? Don't get me wrong. That is how I show up as a wife and a mom. But it's more than that. It's become an essential part of my business because as a business owner, it's my attitude that determines my outcomes. It sets the tone for the energy and the way that I serve you right here on the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. And so gratitude has now become a habit, and I'd almost call it a performance hack. And so that's why I'm going to challenge you right now to start today on Thanksgiving Day with actually writing down three things that you're grateful for. And if you're like me and it feels a little bit hard, I'm going to give you an outline to make it easier. So it's three things. And look at it this way. First thing, write down one, two, three. The first thing you're going to write down is something you're grateful for that's going on or happening in your life right now. The second thing is something from the past, something from yesterday, something from years ago that you are grateful for. And the third thing is something that hasn't even happened yet, a hope, a dream, a vision for the future, something that you want to come into your life or want to happen. And praise God for a good thing that hasn't even happened yet. And so I wrote down this little poem for you, just for you, to guide you through as you write out your three things. And here's what it says: Be grateful for God's provision, that you have all you need for today. For this very moment is the one for which you once prayed. Be grateful for the struggles, the stumbles, and the falls that brought you to your knees, so now you can stand tall. Be grateful for your greatest dreams that have not yet come to pass. Have faith in what you cannot see as God works on your behalf. So take this moment now to pause and still your mind. For when you look for gratitude, what you seek is what you find. And Uplevel Dairy friends, I'm so very grateful for you. Thank you for listening to the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. And if these conversations have been valuable to you in any way, I ask you to show a little bit of gratitude and take a minute today to go over to your favorite listening platform and give us a 5-star rating and drop a review for how the Uplevel Dairy Podcast has been a blessing in your life. And so I'm going to leave you today with a few words from episode 43, where Jay Joy from Bridgeforth LLP talked about gratitude as a part of the game plan for finishing the year strong.
I think the third thing we need to do to finish strong in 2023 is to take a step back and not just take inventory, but also give thanks. Be thankful for the opportunities that we all have in our life in this industry and in business. The opportunity to work hard, the opportunity to contribute to others, to compete against maybe the industry at large, but also yourself. To me, it's the competition to be the best that you can possibly be day in, day out. Like that's the competing that I'm talking about. The opportunity to develop yourself and to develop others, to be part of a community, to provide opportunity for employees, to provide opportunity for vendors. And let's be honest, like in the dairy industry, I feel like where we're at in the dairy industry, we are in the best industry in the best country in the world. Period. Right? I mean, we get to be involved in agriculture in the United States of America. Like that is an opportunity that a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to be involved in agriculture in the United States would kill for, literally. So give thanks that you've got the opportunity to be involved in this industry in this country.
So friends, go out and eat the turkey, eat all the pie, give thanks today, give gratitude, my friend. This is Peggy Caffeine, and I thank you for joining us on the Uplevel Dairy Podcast. Happy Thanksgiving and God bless.